Victoria. How are you? Good, good. So today we're going to talk about sex and advertising, and with that we're going to start at the history of what was going on. So sex and advertising isn't just a new thing nowadays. It's been here for a while. Back in the 17th century, so 1800s-ish, they would sell cigarette boxes with pictures of women in them. And when I say pictures of women in them, I don't mean regular pictures. I mean actual pictures of women who would be almost fully naked. I don't know if you can see it fully. There we go. Yeah, you can see it now. But they would be very explicit photos, and they would use them to lure more men in. And when I say lure, I don't mean lure. I mean they would try to persuade men to buy them. So they would use the aspect of sex, a sexy woman, a half-naked woman, to promote their product, which brings me to the second thing. Nowadays, from history to now, what's the difference? We still do that nowadays. We put it in commercials, we put them in movies, we do it in songs and billboards, but the one I'm going to mainly focus about is probably the commercials. Because when you look at TV and you watch a movie, or you watch a TV show, there's always commercials on. From Super Bowl to, say you're watching your favorite cartoon show, adult cartoon show, because sex and advertising isn't really shown in the childish area. But that takes me to another point on the challenges that they would face with the showing it on kids' television. Like if they were to do it on kids' television, which they don't, but if they were to, they would have to be able to censor it, and with the censor they would have to use all ethics and use their ethical implications and figure out what is actually worth showing and what is appropriate to show. Because me, if I were a mom, I wouldn't want my kid watching some woman walking across the street, just like the Carl's Jr. video I talked about in my paper. I wouldn't want my kid to see a woman walk in the street with almost no clothes on, or look like she had no clothes on, because that's just not right. That's not what I was raised with. That's not what a lot of people are raised with. We were raised to cover our bodies, show respect, be presentable, and that's what sex and advertising does. They show that women want to be shown off, they want to show their bodies, and when they do that, they want people to be drawn to it because they want to be able to persuade a different kind of group. So with that, it's like the uses and gratification theory is what I went with for that, because when you're being gratified in a way, at least for men, they're being gratified in a way because they want to be able to look at a woman and look at the product and be able to get gratification mentally and then physically also. Because for the Carl's Jr. video, when the woman goes and takes a big bite of the cheeseburger, the hamburger, whatever it is she bites into, takes a big bite of the burger, and all of this is showing. Well, to a point, it's all showing it. You can see her curves, you can see her boobs, you can see her short shorts that, come really up high, which isn't even worth it. I wouldn't want my kids to see that if I had kids, because that's just not appropriate. I would want them, for myself, I would want them to watch commercials that don't involve the sex and advertising, but we're supposed to be more on what have brought upon all the why they started using sex and advertising versus not doing it. So with that, they also would I don't know. There's a lot of things that I feel very strongly about on this, and I know it's supposed to be research, but just when you think about it, does sex sell? Yes, sex does sell. Sex sells in every single way, because who doesn't want to look pretty? Who doesn't want to be the supermodel of the show and present the things for sale and be like, yeah, I'm pretty, I eat this all the time, for the Carl's Jr. commercial. She ate the burger. She presented that she was eating a burger all the time, always perfect, picture perfect, ready, had everything all natural, and that was what they were trying to go with in the video. For another theory I used was the uses and gratification. That was my main one, honestly. And with the uses and gratification, they're using something and gratifying another. And I already talked about this. I'm just now remembering this. Going in and out of my notes. It's a little hard. The other theory I used was the social responsibility theory. With the social responsibility theory, that's the when they cover up only just a little bit of the woman. That is how I understood the social responsibility theory. It's when we start using our ethics and think, oh, that's not okay to be showing on TV. That's not okay to be showing little kids. That's not okay to be showing my parents. I would not want my body shown off to my parents like that. That's gross, first off. Just think about it. It's social responsibility. It's your responsibility to provide consumers and customers with the product that they want to get at an appropriate level. So with the Carl's Jr. video, she was walking down the street and they would have everything from here covered with food items, other items on the street. Say there was a block of ice in the video, and then anything down here was covered with that same thing. But when it came to her eating the burger, she pulled it up and she had a itty bitty bikini top on and booty shorts on. And that's we're doing enough coverage that it looks appropriate, so that way you can show it to everybody and still have the necessity of things covered in certain ways. So that was my speech, and I hope you have a good night.